Have you ever experienced the joy of 1,000 freshly cut onions pressed straight into your eyeballs? If not, I envy you. I got to experience such a sensation while working for a temp agency making a whopping $8.75 an hour. No, you heard me right. I had what I felt like the sun itself pressed into my eyeballs for 12 hours straight, 3.5 days a week, for the luxury of mostly not being homeless anymore in my early 20s. Now, where, might you ask, would one find such a wondrous workplace? Look no further than the fried onion factory down the road. This is the only place, I swear, that you could smell it from the highway across the pond that they had sitting next to it. That at first is like, ooh, a lovely pond. No, they use that to dump the runoff. So, that pond, I wouldn't recommend ever touching it. Not surprising anybody, though, it got way, way worse once you got inside. I remember that you could actually walk through most of the building before you hit it. Like, you would walk past all the corporate guys, the ones that they actually care about, and then into the main area, like the main factory floor, and somehow you would make it halfway across that before you ran your face into an invisible wall that you would think it's a haze. It's not a haze. That's the thing. It sneaks up on you. It's sneaky. It's stealthy like that. It comes up and gets you. But 1 second, you're perfectly fine. Next second, boom. Blind, pain, misery, eyes on fire, feeling as though 1,000 pissed off hornets just got into you somehow. And that's your 12-hour shift. It never gets better. It can get worse. We'll talk about that, but it doesn't get better. My role was at least manageable. I was on a thing called finals where everything was kind of just pulling out lumps of dough and burnt bits. The occasional spider. It honestly wasn't too awful or terrible whenever it came down to that. It just had a vibrating machine and you had to stand the whole time, which was pretty bad. If you've never stood for 12 hours straight, you wouldn't get it. The real fun to be had was a room called Raw, though. It had all these little signs and stuff that was telling you, hey, if you go in here, you might go blind. Sorry, not sorry. Just getting close to this room made your eyes hurt even worse somehow, which was mystical how the pain seemed to be able to just increase endlessly. I was happy that I didn't have to know what was behind those doors making such a painful haze until they decided, okay, time to clean. So, great. Yeah, one day the bigwigs were coming in to inspect various things, which meant the factory had to be, properly cleaned instead of just cleanish. Pretend it was actually food safe like it was supposed to be the whole time. During the cleaning fest, the machines didn't stop, which meant that half the staff would clean and the other half was working the machines, which wasn't too terrible, except for the fact that I got specifically sent into the raw room to clean it. It was so bad that you had to be guided into the room by your lead, shoulder in hand, to make sure that you didn't close your eyes and then rub on them because your eyes would just weld shut with all the ambient onion juice. I remember I didn't even try to clean this room. I had my paper towels. I just stood there. I stood there until the leads and everything went away, and then I found a door with my hands and just left. I got out of this room as fast as I could, but the entire time I was in there, it felt as though my eyes were on fire, my skin was covered in a weird oil, and I swear it was getting hard to breathe, but that might have been because of all of the pain and the fact that I did not want to be in this room. I had to start punching my leg at one point to not rub my eyes. Everybody just kept telling me not to rub them, and really did emphasize this, what I was hoping was a joke, was that I might go blind if I do rub them, and if that's the case, I'm never doing this job again. What do you mean I might go blind? Am I risking my eyesight right now for $8.75 an hour? I had a moment, a coming to God moment with that, where I was like, yeah, no, I am literally making $8.75 an hour to what? Try to avoid homelessness while also burning my eyes out? Great. As you might have guessed, I did not stay at this job very long. I got moved as fast as humanly possible to a different position in a different place that was not the literal pits of whatever this is. It got so bad for periods of it that I genuinely contemplated just homelessness. Homelessness would have been better. Homelessness was a fantastic concept. This place 100% had me in there just man, the streets may be cold, but are they covered in onion juice? It 100% holds the title for the physically worst job I've ever had. I've had jobs that had worse drama. I've had jobs that had had boredom, but physically, this is the only job I think where I was genuinely contemplating whether or not I was going to get out of it with my pieces still intact, considering it was actively making me feel as though there were actual bees in my eyes. And I started having a really bad sleep problem on top of that, where I kept laying there staring at the ceiling, because apparently in my early 20-year-old mind, if you don't go to sleep, tomorrow never comes. Sadly, tomorrow always comes to kick you in the face. It loves to come to kick you in the face. When tomorrow's gonna be bad, that's when tomorrow's gonna show up and kick you in the face.